Should you drop everything and run to a loved one's deathbed when you are told they are dying? That's the topic of today's talk. I'm Chaplain Greg Holden, and this is Dharma for Doctors, Spiritual Care for Caregivers. As I speak to you on January 4th, my mother-in-law has had a change in condition. She has gone home on hospice, and it may be that she has entered the process of actively dying. We are debating whether or not we should run to Toledo, Ohio to be there when she dies. There is no perfect answer to the question of should you be at the bedside when someone dies. The fact is that many people, maybe most people, cannot be with a loved one at the end. A harsh reality of the era is that hospitals and nursing homes have prevented loved ones from being with mom, dad, grandpa, or whoever when they leave this mortal coil, if they are positive. I think, personally, it's one of the great tragedies of this time. So many families want to be there, but they can't. I know because I talked to some of these families. I used to take an iPad or a phone and hold it up to the window of the patient's room on FaceTime or another program, so the family could at least see them that way. I even wrote an article about doing this, which I will link to below. I often thought as I stood there saying prayers with the families over the phone, why am I allowed to be here and they are not? It's not right. Don't talk to me about safety. I never got sick with it, and I think people should be able to assess risk for themselves. Decisions should be made out of compassion, not out of liability or other concerns. But there are, of course, many other causes of death in the world, and many people who can't be there at the end. And it's okay. Here is a big secret that I didn't learn until I worked in a hospice. Many people prefer to die alone. Having family around, talking and laughing and eating, seems to keep some people here on this earth. Many times family would sleep in a hospital room, sometimes for days at a time, wanting to be with someone at the moment of death. When they went home to take a shower or go outside to get a bite to eat, the person would take that opportunity to die. And that happened over and over. It is very beautiful to be there at the end if you can. There is an element of closure that is very healing. But keep in mind that someone who is in hospice or in the hospital is well cared for. They'll be okay. If you have to make a choice, it's okay to be with your kids or other loved ones who need you. I was not able to be with my mother when she died. The day before, I visited her with my daughters, and I told her I loved her, which I don't know if I ever did before. I'm not proud to say. My dad visited her that day, and she told people it was her birthday. Her birthday was actually 4 days in the future. I wonder now if she was saying this was her day to be born into a new life. When the nursing home called that night and told me her death was imminent, I grabbed my prayer book and jumped in the car and got on the highway. While I was zooming down the expressway at 80 or 90 miles an hour, I called a good friend and asked, what should I do? Should I drive north to be with my mother at the moment of her death, or should I go south to get my father? She didn't hesitate. Go be with your dad. I had the experience of waking my father up in the middle of the night and driving to the nursing home with him. Mom had already died, but I felt she was still close by, watching us. I spoke to her and I told her goodbye and did my prayers. My dad and I had a few quiet moments with her body, and that was a beautiful experience. In Buddhist philosophy, wisdom is the realization of non-duality, We are not only all interdependent, but we are the same. We are connected by something that's hard to name. Consciousness, superconsciousness, the field. If that's true, you are helping your loved one when you hold your grandchild or do your job so you can put food on the table for your family or get your kids to school instead of camping out at the bedside. It's the same love, and it is love that never dies. I know from reading about many and hearing about many near-death experiences that after death, spirits often visit their loved ones. They send signs that they are okay. I used to tell people this on the phone or at the deathbed, and I am certain of it. My mother, in fact, did send me a sign the night she died. I was back home looking up at the stars, and a very bright light came out of the sky for a moment, and then turned right back around and went back the way it came. I also got other signs later on. So if you can't be there, it's okay. Talk to your loved one. Pray to the angels or spirits or the higher power that you recognize and ask that they welcome your loved one. Ask for a sign that the person is all right, and you'll be all right. I would just like to take a moment to thank everyone for their comments on my previous video. A little encouragement goes a long way with me, and I really appreciate your feedback, which is why I decided to do this next video kind of off the cuff. This has been Dharma for Doctors, Spiritual Care for Caregivers. I'm your host, Chaplain Greg Holden. I want you to feel what I just said, and we will all be okay. And I want you to feel that in your heart. Take it into your heart and realize that it will be all right. We will all be okay. I wish you peace.